I love Mutant Meeples. Like, I really like it. Like, I spent real money commissioning an artist to make me this badass poster to hang on my wall. Bezier Games, please don't sue me. This poster is not for sale, will never be for sale. I just wanted a poster that didn't exist to hang on my board game room wall. Mutant Meeples was one of the first board games I bought after I moved to Australia in 2012. I loved the game, and later on was shocked when most other board game nerds had never heard of it. It's one of my top games of all time. I still love to break it out and play it with my wife today. For those that don't know how to play Mutant Meeples, here's a real quick rundown. A crime has broken out in the city, represented by a target. Your goal is to outthink your opponents and find a way to get a meeple to land directly onto the target space. Each meeple has super speed and moves in a straight line until it hits a wall. They cannot choose to stop earlier. If you're a Pokemon fan, it's kind of like the Pokemon Ice Cave puzzles, where you need to get to the exit, but when you step on ice, you keep sliding until you hit something. The twist is that each meeple has its own superpower that they can use once per turn. Sidestep has the ability to move exactly one square orthogonally. Osmosis has the ability to ignore one wall and slide through it, and so on. Eventually, I moved away from most of my board gaming friends. Because I still wanted to play Mutant Meeples, I finally got around to making my own version. I started by attempting to replicate the real-time multiplayer aspect. My first iteration had custom rooms where a group of players could join and play a version of Mutant Meeples online. It wasn't ever finished, but the bones were there. To start testing Meeple powers, I decided on a whim to randomize a map and Meeple location. I quickly got to the point where I could generate a random map and could move the Meeples around to try to solve the map. I was having a lot of fun just playing small random maps, so I kind of just shifted my goalposts. Instead of replicating Mutant Meeples feature for feature, I wanted to make a daily puzzle, kind of like Wordle. My assumption was that the only people that would use the site would be myself and my wife. Seeing as I changed the scope of my project so drastically, I had to essentially tear everything I had built down so far and redo it from scratch. While it's not perfect, I'm incredibly proud of what I have built so far. Every day or so, I attempt to add some sort of improvement to Slidle. From custom new meeple types to a showcase page showing off maps players have randomly generated and shared online. Every day you go to Slidle, the default page will show you a new daily puzzle. Everyone that views that page on that day will get the same puzzle. Using piece movement and their powers, your goal is to land on the target with as few moves as possible. Click on the meeple you want to move, then using the arrow keys on your keyboard, or the on-screen controls, move the meeple around the board. If you want to use their unique power, hit space or click on the piece description to toggle their power on. Once you beat the map, you can click on the copy score button to save your score to your clipboard. You can then paste the score to share it with anyone. This will now include how many moves it took you to beat the map, which meeples you used, by emoji, and a link to that particular map. If you want to play new maps, you can click the random medium, small, or large map to have a randomly generated map for you to attempt as well. If you beat a randomly generated map and copy the score, the link in your clipboard will be to that newly made map. That was a quick summary of my history with Mutant Meeples and an introduction to Slidle. In my next video, I plan to walk through all the various custom meeples I've introduced to Slidle.